Earlier this month, Oregon has recently decriminalized having small amounts of hard drug substances. In 2016, California legalized marijuana. Do you wonder how close we are to decriminalizing drugs? Drugs are becoming more frequently talked about in our lives, especially in politics, and we need to be more informed in what we're voting and supporting, as well as understanding the benefits that come along with decriminalizing drugs. Many states are becoming more accepting of drugs, and we have to continue learning all that we can in hopes for a better future for all of us. I support decriminalizing drugs, and with my thorough research on all the benefits that come with passing laws related to drugs, I am credible with informing you on this topic. Today, I will argue that drugs should be decriminalized and legalized because it encourages consumer safety, creates lots of job opportunities, and aids in researching the benefits that drugs can have on our health. The three main points I'll discuss are why it's a disadvantage that drugs aren't legalized because of all it can prevent, the reasons why some believe drugs should continue to stay criminalized, and simple actions we can take to continue the path toward decriminalizing drugs. From a very young age, we are always taught that drugs aren't a good thing and should be avoided at all costs. We should be concerned with drugs because it seems to be a taboo subject growing up, but yet we're constantly surrounded by people who consume some form of a drug without even realizing it. It's more in our lives than we think it is. When in reality, decriminalizing drugs can create more jobs, promote consumer safety, and help us research the benefits that drugs can have with our health issues. According to drugpolicy.org, preliminary estimates suggest that the legal marijuana industry employs between 165,000 to 230,000 full and part-time workers across the country. This number will only continue to grow as more states legalize marijuana and replace their unregulated markets with new legal marijuana markets. An expansion of jobs has lots of people happy and will always be a plus for the economy. Not only that, but having a regulated market for drug promotes consumer safety. Whenever anyone hears of an overdose related to marijuana, it's mainly because the strain was laced with another substance like fentanyl or any other one that can cause harm. According to an article written by Dr. Ian Mitchell from Canadian Medical Association Journal, 2 large studies have shown about a 25% decrease in deaths from opioid overdose associated with the legalization of medical cannabis and the availability of dispensaries. The legalization of marijuana has now led to a decrease with opioid deaths. This is demonstrating how decriminalization works. Decriminalizing drugs can also help us learn more about drugs and the benefits it can be used with our health. According to Dr. Peter Grinspoon from the Harvard Health Publishing, he states that part of its allure is that it's clearly safer than opiates. It is impossible to overdose on and far less addictive. And it can take the place of NSAIDs such as Advil or Aleve if people can't take them due to problems with their kidneys or ulcers. Without marijuana being legalized, we wouldn't have been able to research about the benefits the drug can help us with our health. This study from Pew Research Center shows that over 64% of the U.S. supports marijuana legislation, unlike back in 1969, where over 84% were against legalizing it. Drugs have always had a bad reputation, and but now we've reached the point where we can become educated on what we're talking, as well as trying to be better for each other and continue to help one another, especially if someone's addicted. Despite this, some still believe that drugs should continue to be criminalized because it'll lead towards more exposure and more deaths will be related to the legalized drugs. The main argument that's used to oppose legalizing it is that it would lead towards more exposure. According to the Institute for Behavior and Health, the reason so many more Americans use these 2 drugs is that they are legal for adults and are widely available and promoted, supported by well-established industries. Legalizing marijuana ensures that the percent of Americans using this drug will rise to the levels seen by these 2 legal drugs. This is in respect to alcohol and nicotine. Some believe that drugs will be seen as something fun and people will want to try it more and more. Another argument is that other substances like drugs have been legalized and don't have the best reputation. According to the same article by the Institute for Behavior and Health, moreover, legal drugs, including alcohol and nicotine, provide poor models for legislation. While alcohol and nicotine aren't the best examples, those substances have rehabilitation centers that offer help for addicts, and decriminalizing drugs offers this same opportunity for addicts of harder substances instead of jail time. Many opposers towards decriminalizing drugs continue to bring up the argument that it's a gateway drug and will only increase crime, when studies have shown that it doesn't increase drug use and has actually helped lower crime rate. According to Vox.com, at least in Denver, those claims haven't held up. Crimes actually dropped after retail marijuana sales began in January. Legalizing marijuana wasn't necessarily the main reason why the crime rate went down, but it does play a role in the sense that less crime activity is occurring because there isn't the need for it, with more job opportunities being available and less arrests being made. I have discussed the reasons for decriminalizing drugs and the reasons that people continue to believe in order to support criminalizing. Now we can take a look into some actions we can take to continue the path to push for legalizing and decriminalizing drugs. In order to continue decriminalizing drugs, we need to take a look into other countries that have decriminalized drugs to learn from them and continue to vote on measures that can have lasting impact from our future. Take a look into countries that have legalized drugs, help us understand our current drug situation and continue to improve our own war on drugs. According to Susana Ferreira from The Guardian, Portugal's remarkable recovery and the fact that it has held steady through several changes in government, including conservative leaders who would have preferred a return to the US-style war on drugs, could not have happened without an enormous cultural shift and a change in how the country viewed drug addiction and itself. Portugal has decriminalized drugs and began their own shift to a better future, and it's paid off. The legalization of drugs offers a better chance for us to have a more realistic chance for change, as well as shifting our negative stigma towards those who are addicted to drugs and recognizing that they just need help. In order for us to create change, you can go to the website engage.drugpolicy.org. It'll take you right onto this page on the screen that lets you fill out information if you'd like to donate to continue to support this movement. And if you scroll at the bottom of the page, it'll have their social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you also go to drugpolicy.org/action/alerts, you'll go straight to a website that's full of different petitions you can sign. Today, I've argued why drugs should be decriminalized because it creates more job opportunities, promotes consumer safety, and assists in researching drugs that can help with health complications. The 3 main points I went over are the reasons why drugs should be decriminalized, the reasons against it, and some steps of action we can take to push towards drugs being legalized. Drugs are consumed all around us. We rely on caffeine to get through the day. You may know someone who smokes nicotine, and yet most of drugs are criminalized. When people are addicted to the legal ones, simply need help instead of a jail cell. We can make change happen, so let's just start doing it.